Okay, we're going to start again. Today I have with me Joseph and Tatiana Karamian. I believe I pronounced that correctly. They have 2 shops open in California. They opened both of those this summer, and we just want to hear from them, the support that they've gotten from TMAD, their kind of backstory, as well as what they've done to make their shop successful and how they run it. So I'll kick it off with, would you guys both tell me kind of what your professional background is and just your backstory just in general?
I am an ex-banker of 25 years, and then a ex-franchisee of a national Asian fast food chain. We shut that down to come to TMAD. We are like refugees, if you will, to TMAD. TMAD took us in. My daughter, Tatiana, and I'm going to let her elaborate, but she was basically raised in the Asian food store, both of these stores. In fact, she training on the, she likes to cook. So she was always in the back of the house doing something, chopping, cooking, cleaning, whatever it necessary. Since she was 16. So she started that. She's now 29. And so I'll let her tell you a little more about that.
I am presently an employment law attorney, and I fell into that world. I knew that I always wanted to be an attorney, but I fell into the employment world of things because I grew up knowing both the owner as well as the employee component of that world. I've defended both employers as well as employees. And I continue to work in that field while Joseph's helps with the day-to-day of all of the TMAD operations and process.
Love it.
Tatiana's first job was in this franchise, and it was so interesting because in 2017 she went out to law school, and then it took her 3 years of law school plus 1 year of bar prep, so on. She passed the bar the first time, California bar, which is really, really difficult. She so during grand opening at Sherman Oaks, she came to the store. She wanted to pick up some food to take home to her then fiance and now husband, and we were very busy. It was so funny that I just saw her go to the back kitchen and start on the range, and we didn't have range before with the previous franchise. We had grill, but she was on the range, and of course the trainers were there. So it's not like she was doing it blind. Trainers were telling her to put this, put that, put this, what up, but she went in there like a pro, as if without any training in the TMAD world, and she was right there. So it was so interesting. And then we had a rush, and we needed a cashier. So she came up to the front, and she started without any training, started pressing buttons, and within a matter of 5 minutes, she already knew how to operate Rebel. It was very interesting. So what I'm trying to get at is that her involvement in the previous franchise has made her a regular. It's like, okay, in the morning I'm in front of a judge, and I'm fighting the fight. And in the evening, I can just, to put a TMAD t-shirt and go back there and cook chicken if it's necessary, or chop veggies or whatever it is that we need to do. The previous franchise had bowls. We served bowls, very much like TMAD now. Previous franchise had chicken, beef, and tofu. Those were the only 3 protein items. TMAD is much more elaborate on this area. Same way, the bowls had rice, veggies, same as us. TMAD now, so it was a very easy shoe in for her. It was interesting, and I saw her grow up in this, but she's always preferred the kitchen, still does, and so here we are.
I love the willingness from both of you to just step in where help is needed. It's not you're kind of leading from the front and jumping in where help is needed anytime.
And even blind, if you will, without anything.
Yeah,
That was
seriously.
that was the amazing part,
Quick
because she says, "Oh, I've been in front of a grill before. Well, you put the meat on the protein on the grill and let they marry each other, or whatever it is that they do on the grill." So.
So what made you choose Teriyaki Madness for your venture into your own ownership, Tatiana?
Well, I think this is more of a team effort between Joseph and I. We wanted to find something that was along the lines of what we already knew, and but we didn't know what. So we researched for weeks on end and ended up finding Teriyaki Madness randomly, actually. And we looked at it and we said, oh my gosh, this is absolutely perfect. This is exactly in line with our current knowledge. It exceeds our current knowledge, but it's a starting point of somewhere, that we could be. And we just, based off of the information that we knew, we reached out and we saw that just the people of TMAD were a perfect fit. The franchise was a perfect fit. The concept was a perfect fit. And everything just fell into place one after another. So it was a stumble that ended up being probably one of the most greatest stumbles that we could have imagined.
I love that. We are glad you're here.
Yes, absolutely. And that's really convenient that you guys already had experience in that area and were able to kind of transition that experience into your new business adventure, which seems like it's going pretty successfully. So you guys opened both the first and second shop within a few weeks this summer. Can you tell us a little bit about the support that you got from TMAD during that, with real estate, training, and just getting that turnover done in such a short time?
It was, let me first begin by saying that another one of the items, both Tatiana and I, Tatiana doesn't remember, but a few years back, my Sherman Oaks store from the previous franchise, we felt that it was too big of a store, and we wanted to divide it up into 2 stores. But we wanted to make sure that the 2 stores did not compete with each other, but complemented each other. We're right across for the Sherman Oaks. We're right across the street from the hospital, and so often hospital employees would come in. They would want, frozen drinks like boba and some of the juices and things as such. So we researched. And this was, I want to say 2013, something like that. We researched and we found a company called Maui. I can't tell, I don't know which way to say it. It's been a long time. And its headquarters was in Denver. So we both flew there. They gave us a very nice tour of the premises and the way they, the headquarters and so on, the way they roasted coffee and all that. On our way back, we went up, and this heavy-set guy with a long white beard walked out of his office. And they said, he walked up to me, and he knew that I was one of the people that they were showing around. And he said, hi, I'm Michael Heath. I wasn't sure if he owned Maui Wowie or he was an executive at the time. but he felt like an executive back then. So I met him. We joked a little bit. He has a really great sense of humor. Once you get to really know him, he won't let it off right off the bat. But he really needs to know you, and then and so that was the end of our meeting. We came back to LA, researched some more, and I saw what he did. He was a franchisor with many other franchises, as well as this one, and he did a really good job with Maui Wowie. But we decided not to do it, and that was the end of it. Interestingly enough, while we were researching for Teriyaki Madness, we went to the executives. There's a page that has all the pictures of everybody. And here is a very thin guy with a white beard. Looks very much like the guy I knew, but he's lost a ton of weight. And then I read his name and I immediately recognized him. So I was already impressed with what he had done with the previous franchise. And I'm thinking, okay, if he is the one that's driving the bus, whatever you call it, if he is the main person on this thing, then this business cannot be that bad. And so because of that, we went deep into research and figuring out. To me, I am at TMAD number one because I knew Michael. And I have great faith that this man, I want to call him, I called him to his face, the Steve Jobs of the fast food world. But now I'm changing that. He didn't seem to like that for some reason. So I'm going to change it to Jeff Bezos of the fast food world. I have great faith in him, and I know that with him being at the helm, this franchise will go further. Tatiana has taken over, and we're building this franchise for my grandkids, hopefully soon, coming from Tatiana very soon, right? Okay. Anyway, for the grandkids, I would love to see the grandkids working at the stores. We aim to open 5, total of 5. We're looking at the number 3 right now at a different area. We want to be able to basically own the LA County world, in the TMAD world. So Michael was more than 50% of me even being interested in Teriyaki Madness. And to today and any further, I have, regardless of some of the difficulties that I had converting, so on and so forth, I always knew that he's going to come through, and he does. He has exceptional management team and exceptional support team like you all. So I met each one of you face to face when I came to Denver. So we're hoping, we know that with this franchise, that whatever money we put into it, it'll be sort of like an investment versus with the previous franchise, whatever money you put into that franchise, face it, they went from 240 stores to 97. So we weren't sure if we were on board going, sinking ship or not, and we decided to bail out and become refugees of TMAD.
That's great. I can't believe that. I didn't know you had met Michael so many years before. Oh, what a full circle moment.
And he didn't recognize me when we met at the Discovery. But when I explained, I said, I also have a weight issue. And I said to him, what happened? You're half the man I know. And he said, well, I needed to get healthy, and here we are.
Oh, that's great. Well, you mentioned that you got to meet the whole support team when you were here in Denver. You were here for initial training and for hot training. How did you feel that the training prepared you guys to get the shops open?
Yes, it's training. All the so let's if you divide it, Tatiana wasn't with me, so I'm the only one that I can that can speak to this. But if you divide it, the hot training, and then the one-on-one training with the trainers. If you divide them, I think that they're very, very valuable. But more importantly, the hot training was the main kicker for me. Today, I can confidently say that when I go back in the kitchen, every area of the kitchen I am proficient about. I can, on one side, I can pull out a box of chicken, prepare it for them, marinate, so on and so forth, for cooking. And I go to the other side, and I can do the vegetables. I can go to the front portion of the kitchen and go on the range, which is the toughest, I believe, of all the areas, because that's where the mixing comes up. And I can do it. I may not be as fast as my crew that does it every day, but I can very easily get in there if I need to, and I do oftentimes. And then certainly the grill and some of the other areas, they're the areas here. So if it wasn't for the hot training, I would know nothing whatsoever. Then it was for the training with the trainers. I had great trainers that came in for Sherman Oaks, 3 trainers, one in each area, exceptional trainers. And then a month later, when we opened Sherman Oaks, a month later we opened North Hollywood. So they were both being constructed upon at the same time. And I requested them back, even though I wasn't mandated to have them back. In other words, for Sherman Oaks, we were mandated. Yes, here are your trainers. They're going to come in. They're going to train you. But I mandated them to come, and they did, and they trained everybody. They did a great job. The support team at Denver, the marketing team, phenomenal. Some of the policy and procedures and so on that we needed to know, that I needed to know, again, great. So basically, wonderful all around.
I love it. It's interesting. I love that you had the trainers come back for your second shop opening, just to really just help make everything flow probably smooth, make you feel a little bit more comfortable at ease, and just provide a couple extra hands.
Yeah, they were very, very important. I felt they did a superb job at Sherman Oaks, and then back office told us that they will send us one person, a trainer, free of charge, to come and train the new crew at North Hollywood. I said no. I am going to pay full charge, whatever it is. I want all 3 of them, the same guys, back. They came in and they did a bang up job. Kevin was heading all this. I have a great respect for him. He's got a great knowledge, and I can understand him when he talks. Some of the other some others, when they're, and I don't have anybody with TMAD, but I'm thinking when people are in the sitting behind the desk all the time and they've never been involved with what goes on in the store, when you talk to them, they really have no idea how to give you advice. But I felt Kevin really knew what goes on and what he does, even though he sits in the desk. But I know he has involvement.
Absolutely. So what changes have you noticed in your shop since you've transitioned from the former to TMAD?
The former, you said?
Yes.
Okay. Many. First of all, we have more products to offer. Second, we're no more a fast food store. We're a restaurant. The meals are made individually for that individual order. Whereas before, we would make a bunch of it, much like Panda Express does. Yeah, they do make it fresh, but they put it under a hot lamp. Yeah, if you go there at noon, you get fresh food. But if you go there at three in the afternoon, you're getting the food that was made at noon. So with us, that's not true. We're always, no matter what time of the day you walk in, we're giving you fresh food that's made right there to your order, to your specification. So that's one thing that was different. Secondly, provisions through Cisco, much less expensive than the provisions through, we used to have US Food back then. So that shows the power of negotiation that our TMAD has with those people. Of course, just the marketing support. I talk to Dylan 10 times a day, and without any issues, he answers me back within a matter of minutes. I'm thinking, this guy has got all these franchisees talking to him and corporate people, but he still has the time to email me 2 minutes after I email him, and I'm thinking, wow, that goes for the most people in the back office. So that's it, I guess.
And how do you guys feel your transition was? I mean, it sounds like you got good support, but what have maybe you done to improve your operations, make customers happy? How do you feel about that side of the business?
One thing that's very, very important, and I said that from day one to my previous employees. I have 4 of them who have been with me for 10 years. And once we closed down the old shops, they were still remained on salary until we reopened. So they were getting paid basically to sit home. But their tenure, they were with us for a long time. So, I couldn't let them go. But it was very important for me to get confirmation from them because the confirmation was, I don't want to hear this is how we used to do it. How we used to do it doesn't exist anymore. This is how we do it now. So although there's really no parallel between the previous cooking and the current cooking other than the grill, if you will. But you put anything on a grill, it'll cook. But other than that, there's really no parallel. But I don't want to hear that. So it was very important that I bestowed upon the ex-employees and the future employees, whoever that came through, because some of them came from Panda Express to us. I don't want to know what you did in Panda. I really am not interested. It's the TMAD way or no way. It's a very simple calculation. TMAD has a certain way of cooking, serving, servicing. All of these things has to be followed for it to be a TMAD. You can't say, I'm going to do. That came out, didn't it? I'm gonna do previous. You edit that one out. I'm gonna do previous franchise customer service, but I'm gonna do the cooking that's to TMAD. You can't. It's specific components laid out by experts, which is you all in that big building, big black building. So it needs to be followed to the T. So that was very important. Next thing is reintroducing the fact that the previous customers saw me and some of the other staff there. That was a nice bridge. That created a nice bridge to the new brand, which was very good. Now all we had to do is we had to now explain how things were somewhat alike, so they didn't lose what they had with the previous franchise, but they gained more products, they gained better service, but most importantly, they gained better taste. So okay, yeah, you had a chicken bowl with the previous franchise. We have chicken bowl too. But guess what? Sauce is different. Cooking is different. The chicken itself is different. It's fresh, not frozen like before. So it tastes better. And I would be standing right on top of them at the table when they're eating to get confirmation that it does taste better. I haven't had one person say that, the TMAD, the previous franchise food tastes better than the current. Not one. But most importantly, when you get confirmation from the customer, when they verbalize the confirmation, then in their mind, this is a better place and I'm going to continue going there. So we had to do a little bit of that too.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like you guys had a really good strategized transition over from the one concept to TMAD. It's been successful, hopefully, with your employees getting used to the transition, especially after all of our training. I know you mentioned wanting to expand in the LA County area. Could you elaborate a little bit more on your plans for future growth?
Yes. One of the things that I'm having a difficult time, even though TMAT has many stores throughout the country, but they are far and few in between in the LA County. We've had excellent franchisees that operate the Silmar store, that operate the Santa Clarita store. Actually, the owner of the Santa Clarita has become a very good friend because I bothered him so many times during research. I bought so much food from him. I'm talking about hundreds and hundreds of dollars of food throughout my research from him. That he is now a personal friend, but it's also far apart. The Sherman Oaks and the North Hollywood are dead center of LA County, dead center of the valley, if you will. The North Hollywood store is within minutes of all the movie studios, Warner Brothers, Fox, Paramount, so on. And their employees frequent or used to frequent us. Now they're starting to. And then the Sherman Oaks is the other end of valley. So if you dotted all the TMAT stores in the LA County, you would see that the Sherman Oaks and North Hollywood kind of complete the circle, if you will, these two stores. One thing we don't have is when I used to have a store at West Hollywood. That's a strong area. That's where I'm looking now to open the third. And the other two we're still yet to decide. But as Michael said when he called me on the opening day of North Hollywood, I told him I had plans, and he says, "Well, don't get too ahead of yourself. Run these for a little bit, get to know the system, get to know the culture," and he's absolutely right. And that's exactly what I'm doing now. But I'm still looking. It's not like, whereas I was reluctant to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on putting on a new store, with Michael, I'm not. And interestingly enough, we were top performers with the previous franchise. And that was one of the things that we were a little bit concerned because here we are, two top performing stores wanting to leave the village, or whatever you want to call it, the group. And then I didn't have to spend any money to build new stores. But I decided to spend a lot of money for each store to rebuild it, if you will, rebrand it. In other words, they say, don't fix it if it's not broken. Well, it wasn't broken, but I still went ahead and fixed it. So I hope I don't feel. I hope I'm not sorry about it, and it doesn't look like I am. So.
So you made a comment about keeping employees from your former franchise and holding them on until you got these shops open. I feel like that speaks a lot for the culture you build in the shops and who you have around you and kind of how you run that. Can you kind of talk about how you build that culture within your four walls with your staff?
Number one, and I cannot reiterate this for any new franchisee or any old franchisee, old meaning time and grade franchisee, know your products and know how to do what you're going to preach them to do. So when I go, when I see that the store is short staffed, when I jump in the back and I pull out the box of chicken and I'm actually prepping, and they see me do that, they build a lot of that builds a lot of confidence. Hey, wait a minute, he's telling me to do this, but he does it himself. It's not like a manager where they traditionally they stand on the side and they say, okay, you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that. It's easy to talk, but when you walk the walk, it's a different situation. And the fact that they see me in all areas of the store, 2 hours for an hour, I'm a cashier. In fact, just now, as we're talking, I got a text from my cashier at Sherman Oaks. He says, we don't have anybody to relieve me for break. Can you come later on and relieve me? Traditionally, cashiers don't go to owners to say, hey, can you relieve me? They go to managers or whatever, even though I have since hired an exceptional manager. But what I'm trying to get at is walk the walk, talk the talk. Or they say talk the walk, something like that. Anyhow, that's very important. So you build confidence with your employees, and they know that what you're telling them to do, that you do it yourself as well. And when times are hard, they see me there doing it with them. That's very important. Mm-hmm. The next is being out there and chit-chatting with customers. I have a very, very strong sense of humor. Actually, it's a double-edged sword, if you will, but for the most part is a good thing, because I'm out there chit-chatting with everybody. Something really funny. Customer walks up. Now, everybody is very weary of the prices of fast food these days, everywhere, not just in LA. In LA, a little bit more because we have a very high minimum wage, thanks to our wonderful governor. So things are a little more expensive. So as I'm a cashier, a customer walks in and they said, let's say their order turns out to be $11.20. I said, well, now you owe me $1,100. And then we start joking. Hey, yeah, So they see that the owner is joking about the high prices of the food, but they see that I'm also a victim of the situation, not just them. They like that. And then, of course, when they pay $11, it's not as bad as paying $1,100. So that becomes a conversation piece. And then we start chit-chatting, and now they're buying food from a friend, and they really don't care how much they pay. Whereas before, I would be just some cashier standing there looking at them. The younger generation today, they don't have that sense of humor, unfortunately. And I've tried to teach, but you can't teach sense of humor. It just needs to be in there or not. So that's another. Also, the fact that when they're in trouble, we're there to help them. I can't tell you how many times Tatiana had to lend a legal hand to take care of issues for them. I can't tell you, how many 3 a.m. Theft calls Tatiana had to run over to the store because there's somebody decided to break the window and come in and whatever. And actually, I have a footage of our NBC channel that came and interviewed us while Tatiana was sweeping the glass. Of course, then she wasn't married, which was better, but now is different. Anyway, here we are. So basically, you need to be there with your with your hands in it, not just touching it. I'm talking about literally in it.
And then another question, kind of going backwards a little bit. It sounds like one of the franchisees in the LA area, when you were doing research, you were there a lot, and you were able to lean on them for, inside information. Has
I
that
did.
relationship continued now that you have open shops, and do you guys lean on each other and work together through things?
Yes, even stronger now. Interestingly enough, a couple of weeks ago, Cisco screwed up one of our orders, and Sheldon, my business manager, says, "Hey, can you call somebody that you know, one of the franchisees, see if you can borrow something from them, and then when Cisco delivers your stuff, you can just give it back." And I called. His name is Sanjay. He's the owner of the Santa Clarita store. I called him, and he says, "I don't even know why you're calling. Just get down here." So I went there. I took what I needed. He was very willing to give up his stuff, and then of course I promptly returned it. It was very, very important. That relationship with other franchisees is also important. Haven't been able to. Heard a lot about a multi-franchisee called, his name is Mario. Haven't been able to establish a relationship, but I'm going to do it. I understand that I'm the new guy on the block, so I'm the one that's going to go to him rather than wait for him to come to me. So I'm going to go to him, and much like I did with Santa Clarita, and establish that relationship. I remember during the pandemic with my previous franchise, we had to be like a band of brothers, if you will. We were helping each other out in all kinds of things, ideas, so on and so forth. So I think that relationship is important.
I agree. Couldn't agree more, actually. And then I'm going to just end on this question for both of you. So, what's the most valuable thing you've learned as business owners?
Um, you can be a business owner. You can be the owner of the most expensive gold-plated store. I'm just using retail. It could be anything. Two things are very important: the employees that run it and the customers that frequent it. You don't have those two. You could have, the greatest place in the world. It won't exist much longer. And I'm sure Tatiana can vouch for this, is because I remember Tatiana was very a shy young lady when she was growing up. And the exposure that she got talking to customers, talking to employees, kind of opened up her dialogue, her ability to talk. And now, I can't say because of just that, but that kind of was the start. And now she's an exceptional litigator. She stands in front of judges. She stands in front of juries. They call her the piranha of the employment world. She has established that kind of a thing because of the customers and the employees, and she's interacted with them. As she said earlier, her current career is based upon the previous franchise and the current franchise, because if the previous franchise experience wasn't good, she would have told me, "Hey, Dad, I don't want to be a part of this. You want to go with TMAD? You want to go do whatever you want to do? You're on your own. I'm a lawyer. I got my own career. I don't need this." But the moment that I told her, she didn't even wink. She just said, "Yeah, that's just make sure that this is the correct franchise, because we don't want to spend a lot of money going into nothing." And once she saw the numbers, and most importantly, she was with me when Michael was introduced. None of them remember each other, but she was standing right next to me when that was being happening. So she knew that I was very good in research. So this franchise, the talking to customers, interacting with customers, interacting with employees, all of that brought a whole new career to her. Now, meticulously, because she's an employment lawyer, and California is much like many states, but California is a very sticky state when it comes to employment law. You should, I am thrilled that she is, because I run the stores with right to the what do you call it, to the letter of the law, whatever you call them, to the line of the law, whatever. She doesn't let me wink a little bit here, a little bit there. The breaks, the dollar amount, the salaries, everything is all. She's hovering over it like an eagle would over a business. So she does a lot of things in the back office. No, she's not involved in the day-to-day operation. But she's watching it like a hawk. If something goes wrong, if the numbers aren't right, if I don't know, something that I might miss. So I feel that if I miss something, she's going to catch it. Bring it all back to her current career, which came from the customer interaction and interaction with the employees.
I think what's also really important in this whole process, and what's been taught for sure, is patience. Patience is a big thing. Patience with the process, patience with things that you don't agree that are happening, or prices that are changing, or customers or employees, especially the customers and employees, because although they are the bread and butter of the company, they are probably the most difficult part of this whole process. So patience is super important to deal with a difficult customer, give them what they want just to get their business back, but also have a sense of, keep the dignity of your company, and not give them every little thing that they want, but give them enough where they would come back and they would, like you, and turn a difficult situation into a not terrible situation. They would probably see it in that moment. And so I think that's probably one of the biggest things that Joseph and I learned in this process, especially when timelines didn't go as hoped, as they never do. But timelines didn't go as you would hope. Construction prices always change. You always have to overestimate. So that wasn't too big of a surprise when things changed there. But at the end of the day, it just gave we just had to be patient, and our patience got us to the finish line, which is where we are now.
Absolutely. Thank you for all your insight. This was very amazing. I love the father-daughter duo. I love to hear how you guys work together, the things you've done to improve your shop and how you work with your employees. And I want to say thank you for taking the time.
You're welcome.
Thank
Anytime.
you for having us.
Thank you for having us.